Folks, linked in the description is a tribute video that I made for Ozzy Osbourne. He's always been one of my favorite for any type of genre of music, and especially with associates with Beavis and Butthead, like doing, at the time, it was debut music for Beavis and Butthead to America, and Beavis and Butthead reacting to him and all that. So between having a lot of association with my favorite show and just having great music in general, Ozzy's always been one of my favorites ever. So it really does suck that he died, but it's awesome that he was able to do his final farewell and raise so much money for charity. So at least he went out in a blaze of glory. But sadly, Lootube doesn't even let there to be any, closure for individual people, on average. Linked in the description is a tribute video kind of edited like my greatest moments of all time, where it's clips associated with some of Ozzy's music. And I did that around stuff that y'all have actually not seen in the way that it's edited. One clip is actually from a live stream that I was actually even able to edit down to the point of where it's only the racing on screen and it's not the bits of the other live stream on there. So in a way, it's actually a truly new way of seeing it, and of upscale quality and all that compared to the original live stream as well. And the other one's more of edited erased to like the best parts of it. Stuff like that, of a kart race that I had that was a challenge to begin with. So I tried to make it edited in a way that is, well, it's not completely new footage, at least new, in a way that it shows it on all that, and it is all of my original footage, but then yet on Lootube, and only on Lootube, doesn't even allow the video to be officially shown. And I'll get to officially in a minute. But to begin with, what is the thumbnail of the video? Yeah, because I had two songs that have been around for a while and a half right yonder, and from what I can tell, I never really had any trouble, at least of what I watched on Lootube itself. Both of the songs I was actually able to get from, Lootube itself, and I saw multiple versions and multiple channels and multiple different ways of doing it and stuff, like the Walk on Water. There's an edit with Beavis and Butthead Do America, like the best moments in the background of it. There's edit with like the Beavis and Butthead cover where they're on a motorcycle. All that. It all seemed perfectly fine. And then See You on the Other Side, there's like tons of different versions throughout time, and especially because that seemed to be one of, if not the main song that people started going to once Ozzy did die. So I don't get that, because to me it seems like an outright double standard, and it's not even directly of how those standards work for both of those songs. And from what I can tell, all Ozzy songs, there are plenty of different versions and edits and backgrounds and all that sort of stuff with all of them, and a lot of times it even isn't someone's original footage. It is something like the background of a movie or whatever it may be, and all those seem to be perfectly fine. But then yet, with my video, from what I can tell, just general research, a lot of people trying to do tributes and stuff like that are suddenly not allowed. So that truly is a double standard, where sometimes it's perfectly fine and others it's not, and there's no explanation given whatsoever. And also, from what I can tell, this is only a Lootube problem. I uploaded the video to Odyssey perfectly fine, and again, that's linked in the description. Not once of me being the number one trending for gaming on the entire site has I ever gotten any backlash or pushback to that. So while yes, Sony is evil, and I will get into that now later is a bit with the Lootube side of things as well. To begin with Sony, the actual statement that I got, and again, it's part of the thumbnail, is that SME made the video not actually publicly available because of the 2 songs. And the way that I had to do is I had to jump through double amounts of hoops with that, because I had to do a dispute for both videos, with this dispute being fair use. If it's transformative content, which it's edited like how I did with the My Greatest Moments of All Time music video, which I had no problem with whatsoever, that video is globally available and I didn't have to censor any of the music, and that had a whole heck of a heap of songs and a whole heck of a heap of different artists and studios and all that, and that was fine. I don't get what's going on there. And the sad part about that too is that it says it can take up to 30 days, and from how I understand it, if no response is given in 30 days, I just have to redo it. I don't think it's one of those where after 30 days, if they don't respond, that means that I don't care, and then the video becomes public. From what I can tell, I have to redo it. And if then either one of those they say no to, the only other option is that no one can see the video on Lootube, or I can go to an actual fight against it. But the way that works is I already checked, and even though there was no copyright strike given to my channel whatsoever, this all just had to do with the individual video, Lootube has a policy that they are apparently just forcing upon people, even if the music studios themselves say nothing about it, to where if it's disputed and then the studio says no, and then you try and fight that and it doesn't work, I don't even think it's necessarily that the studio says no, it's just that the timer runs out again. Then there's a copyright strike on their channel, even though the music studio itself didn't say anything about it. I haven't gone to that step yet. I'd rather not have to wait a month or over if I have to redo it. Most likely that would be how it is. So frankly, what I'm doing is just linking to the description and watch kind of the more definitive version of it, because like I've always said, from how I understand it, uploading a video to Lootube is a lot more compressing and such than uploading it to Odyssey. Odyssey can deal with the sort of bitrate type of stuff a lot better. Granted, Odyssey for the higher up resolutions, not so much, because they have a bitrate max, but in terms of something that's 720p of direct capture, or from my own experience of recording stuff on my own phone, 640p or lower recorded from a phone, it looks better on Odyssey than it does on Lootube anyway. So there's that too, of just visually looking better. And again, especially with the first about, I think it's 4 minutes and 45 seconds of the video is actually edited away, in which it's upscaled from a live stream, and it's the best parts of that edited, like with no other side stuff on the live stream, like the comments or the bottom bit that the PlayStation has by default too, so it's full screen actually racing on there. Yeah, and of course this is by far bigger than me too. If anyone that tried to do Aussie tribute, or just however they want to word it, it seems to not be allowed anymore. It truly and really is a double standard when some channels can outright edit their stuff to other copyrighted materials, and that would be perfectly fine, or upload the music literally just as is with no edits whatsoever, which I've seen it multiple times as well, and both of those are fine. But then yet, this time isn't. Sony, in that way, is real and truly evil, and this is by far not the first time of this happening, because I've noticed Sony being evil in terms of the music type stuff since, for me specifically, at least 2017. When the GT Sport demo, not even the closed beta, but the demo itself that came out about a week before the game itself was out, they did a double standard with that music too. because the demo came out, it wasn't exactly known of what music was copyrighted or not, because it was a truly new thing. At the time, the demo had different music. In the closed beta, people were just kind of guessing, and it was truly really crapshoot, where some videos with the same music got completely taken down, and then others were perfectly fine. In some cases, there were live streams in which some of the music even overlapped multiple times, and even that was fine as well. Someone could have, let's say, a 10-hour live stream where all the music played at least 2 or 3 times. That would be fine, but someone would have a 20-second video with a little bit of one song in it, and then that would be taken down completely. And that was 2017. From what I could tell, that was actually never resolved, because later on, I actually made a video in which, to where manually you could actually successfully copyright claim some stuff with artists associated with Gran Turismo, like Lenny Abazarias. I don't really know how to say his nice name, sorry. But it's one of the main people who's been associated with the game for a whole heck of a heap of time, and actually performed live at some of the Gran Turismo events and stuff. Generally speaking, he likes the series, and that was able to be manually overturned because that studio is smaller, and they were able to fix that because that guy's on good graces of Gran Turismo specifically. But Sony probably didn't like that, and definitely didn't like what happened in 2017. And now, to where, for one instance to where someone was more associated with Gran Turismo, okay, but Sony in general, not so much. Because even in 2022, kind of another thing arose too, and that even got worse. Like I've documented, to where when GT7 first got not really leaked, but some people were able to get their copies mailed to them earlier than what was the official release date. They used music as an excuse, but it was all the videos, even if the music was turned off, to where any of those type of videos that released before the official release date of Gran Turismo were actually taken down by a private company. But then I did research on it and made a video too. That private company was actually Hired Goons. Frankly, I don't actually remember the name of that private company, but I did a video on it, so you can go back and look on that if you want. But again, the main thing linked in the description is the Aussie tribute video, but still. All this is well documented, even just by me specifically, and many others have done it in a lot better way and better documentation than I could too. Just even specifically, this is what I have dealt with. And to where those Hired Goons actually took out all those videos and never had anything redemption for that. They never came back to Lootube or any of that. And it was actually Sony hiring a private company to do their dirty work, because by then people got suspicious and noticed that Sony was being corrupt and evil and stuff. And the sad part about it is, through all of this, Lootube never actually had to comply, because throughout all of the things was involving fair use. With all of these things, for examples of Gran Turismo being the background, thus transformative content. If it's a video game that's not associated with the music directly, like it's not Guitar Hero or Just Dance or Beat Saber type of thing, then it is transformative content, especially in all of these scenarios where people's individuals own footage. It's not just taking stock footage of like a Gran Turismo trailer or the kind of the demo races that are in the game itself or stuff like that. It's people's own individual content, and yet in all cases would get taken down. And the only one I was even able to fight back was someone directly associated with Gran Turismo, and I so had to manually dispute that. So in all these 3 instances with Sony being evil with that, and not once did Lootube ever have to comply. And from what I can tell, at least of my understanding, the only site where this actually had problems was Lootube. I understand of how it works on Twitch, that sometimes if it's copyrighted music, then that instance in a video then is muted, but the live stream in general can still be seen after. when the live stream is going live, all the music and stuff plays, and then after the fact, by default, then that little bit is muted, and then from what I can tell, the creators can then dispute that and get that fixed or whatever, but it's not that big of a deal on Twitch, because from what I can tell, throughout as long as I can remember, the live streams only stay up for 2 months anyway, for the most part, so usually it's not particularly fought all that much. Now, I never recall any problems with Sony on Library Odyssey. So, while yes, Sony's evil, and they've even got to the point where they're hiring goons to go after people, because people understand that Sony's evil and they don't want the backlash. Lootube doesn't have to comply either, because like I said, it really and truly is fair use. It's not only just my footage, but I even actually edited that footage in a different way as well. So one of the things that Lootube has started recently, that in order to monetize content, you do have to change original stuff in whatever way, shape, or form it may be, because you get so many channels nowadays that pretty much just make a second channel and upload the same stuff again and make it look new. Which, granted, as y'all know, I've uploaded some of the same stuff as well, but with all the stuff, it's changed in the sense of like a compilation with various contexts, like the extremes of Gran Turismo, or whatever it may be. It's put into a short in which it's the actual footage itself is moved to where it's centered in a way that looks good for the short, and then upscaled to 4K. The clips are literally just edited in a way into which it shows the more exciting content, whatever it may be. And the caveat with all that is, even that, the stipulation is to monetize stuff. And my channel, not at any point ever, and I would assume at no point ever will on Lootube, be monetized. So none of this should even affect me whatsoever, but then here we are having a tribute truly and really made in good faith not even be allowed at all, and I'm far from the only one. But then the others randomly get it. So it's not just Sony being evil, it's not just Lootube being evil, it's also double standards as well. That's a trifecta of stupidity. And frankly, at this point, all I can really do is try and manually fight it, but I haven't heard anything back, and chances are I don't. So, yeah, the moral of the story is, yeah, just look at the link in the description and go from there. To end off the video, I'm sure y'all have heard the saying before, like bending the knee, and lately it's kind of more bending the knee to corporate will and all that. Well, Sony and Lootube ain't just bending the knee, they're getting on both knees and open up their mouth real caught picking wide, folks. And I'll say this, YouTube has sucked for a while and a half right yonder. Sony's just getting worse and worse too. In general, I'd say nowadays I have a pretty negative opinion of Sony. Wouldn't say they're the absolute worst company out there, but while YouTube has sucked for the vast majority of the time that I've been on it, I'd like to at least kind of sort of give Sony a little bit of benefit of doubt stuff. I mean, they've won the console war. There's still some exclusive games that are good and stuff. I mean, some of the music ends up working out because there are occasional like new labels and stuff like that. It's making it a lot picking harder to have a positive opinion of Sony when even just my small channel has had, at this point, 4 different instances, which like 2017, 2018 or 19, I can't remember exactly when I made that video, but in a way kind of both, because I've had to do those manual claims throughout multiple years, so in a way it kind of is 2017, 18, 19, 22, and 25. It's just me, small channel individual. So between Sony being evil and Lootube getting on both knees and opening their mouth real wide to the corporatism, gotten really cotton picking bad, folks. And honestly, what I'll end up doing is that if Lootube ends up actually censoring this type of video too, then from what I can tell, I can then just make this to be my channel trailer to where anyone that goes to my channel for the first time will see this video first. So then even if it doesn't come in recommendations or whatever, it still shows up anyway. Yes, I'd rather it be my greatest moments of all time, which went off without hits and didn't have any copyright problems with having a whole heck of a heap of music from a whole heck of a heap of artists from a whole heck of a heap of labels. But then yet this being a good faith tribute to arguably my favorite musical artist ever, did not, even though there's plenty of others that have. So yeah, I mean, needless to say, I'm pissed, but I mean, all in all, Lyra and Odyssey is the definitive format anyway. I mean, like I've always said, I'd prefer all the sites not be corrupt and to put my content anywhere and everywhere because I want the most people to see it as possible. And not really just my content in general. Content should always be kind of anywhere and everywhere if you truly really believe in it. But the sad part is why I believe in my own content. I hope many people do believe in their own content. I don't believe in a lot of the sites to portray that content in the best way possible. Really about now, the only one to have absolute confidence in is Library. I have, for the most part, confidence in Odyssey, but I mean, with the Arweave merger, we still don't know a lot of details of that, so that's a little bit iffy. And then beyond that, not really, folks, not really. So yeah, we're not particularly in a dangerous place when Lootube and Sony won't even allow there to be a tribute to Ozzy, and it's probably only going to get worse. From the looks of things, this most certainly ain't worth the e-haul, but yeah, just go to the link in the description and you can watch the definitive version of tribute to Ozzy. And hopefully that one, at least in some way, shape, or form, is worth the e-haul. We shouldn't have to do rant when it's meant to be all respect and love to someone, but this is just the world we live in now. So, yeah, I'm only really expecting Lootube and Sony and a lot of the greedy companies just to get even more evil as time goes on. It's a sad truth.